welcome to Kingmaker. I'm your host, Roosh V, and today's episode is on female warning signs. Warning signs that maybe you shouldn't get involved with a woman. Let's start with the biggest warning sign. Does she have a vagina? If she does, she will lack morals, logic, character. She won't accept responsibility for her actions, and she will blame you men for everything. You know, this is the warning sign that cannot be escaped ever. Just know that you will not find a perfect woman. You will not find one that doesn't give you some headache, some heartache, that will act in a dignified, elegant, moral manner. So we already have one foot in the mud before we get started. That said, let's get into more specific warning signs. And what I did was I'm categorizing them by the stage. So let's first start with warning signs based on her appearance. And these are warning signs that you shouldn't even approach her. You shouldn't even try to get to know her, try to find out what her story is. And we want to first exclude girls who are on the extreme left, who are hardcore feminists, who are hardcore social justice warriors, because these are the girls that have this kind of hatred towards men, have this resentment due to maybe daddy issues or due to cultural brainwashing, due to getting mixed up in some other weird ideologies that they were trained in school, like maybe they majored in women's studies. So we want to avoid them because these girls are more likely to accuse men of things like harassment and rape. And maybe I think they're more likely to try to hurt you after a relationship is done. So how can you identify them? Well, they usually have unnaturally colored hair. That's the number one warning sign. Usually her hair is blue or green or bright red. She usually has ear gauges. She has tattoos on her neck, on her face. She has a shaved head. So now, I don't want to get too deep into your attractiveness preferences. Like, I know some guys like girls who have tattoos or like girls whose hair is maybe shorter or something like this. But if she has a tattoo on her neck, and if she has these ear gauges, if she has excessive piercings and the colored hair, I would pass. I wouldn't talk to her. What good can come out of it? You know, not much. You get a bang, but then you'll get banged if you go to jail or something stupid. You just can't predict what these weirdos will do. So the way that I have avoided being falsely accused of things, I only focus on beautiful women. I like beauty. I like feminine women who don't dabble in these far left ideologies. I mean, sometimes I do fail. There's like a crypto feminist that I end up dating, but I don't go for girls who openly subscribe to these far left ideologies. And I actually did an article not long ago on my blog, I'll link in the show notes, where I test them. Do you like Donald Trump? And it's not that I really need to date a girl who likes Donald Trump, but if she hates him, if it's not just an indifference, if she hates him, that's a bad sign, because who else hates him? All these freaks that are on the left. So now we can move on to warning signs if you're doing day game. And actually, day game doesn't really have many warning signs because girls give you this plain default mode. She's maybe a bit shell-shocked for being approached during the daytime, so she'll give you the really sedated, plain version of her personality. So honestly, day game is not the best way to screen a girl. You'll probably have to go on a date with her. So really the warning signs here are ones that maybe she's a little more disrespectful or less eager to meet a man. So the first would be wearing headphones while staring at her phone. Now, yes, you can open a girl with headphones. There's many guys that say it can be done. It's not my first pick, though. There's a reason she's blocking the world out, because she doesn't want the world to bother her. So if she's wearing headphones and staring at something that prevents you from establishing eye contact with her, I would definitely pass. And added to that is walking really, really fast. Now, yeah, you can make a game out of stopping girls walking fast. And you can, now, again, you can approach a girl doing anything, running even. But these are low ROI approaches. And if a girl is wearing headphones and on her phone and walking fast, I mean, she's not going to even, she's going to pretend that she even see you. So I wouldn't approach these girls. And during the conversation, during a day game conversation, I would say the biggest warning sign is if she gets a call or a text and starts to respond or answer without saying, "Excuse me." Now, I get it. I approached her out of random and, maybe her mommy is calling her. But if she doesn't say, "Excuse me, let me take this," and just answers without saying anything, then that's a bad sign. And, of course, if she does take a call in the middle of an approach, it's like, how long do I stand here and wait? I would, maybe 30 seconds or something. Usually it should be that she's just really quickly getting the information from the caller and saying, "I'll call you right back because I'm talking to this amazing bearded man and I don't want to scare him off. I don't want him to run away because this could be my soulmate." So that's the ideal when it comes to day game. Now at night, we have a lot of warning signs. I mean, because there's just so much action, there's so many things going on, and there's more opportunity for you to judge a girl. And some of these could also be used for dates, but I'm going to have another section on dating warning signs after. So let's start with the night game warning signs. The number one warning sign is she's drinking alcohol excessively. If you're looking for like a wife, even drinking alcohol at all is a bad sign, but drinking alcohol excessively is not a good idea because let's first ask, what does drinking do to men? It lowers their inhibition so they feel more confident. I'm sure you know guys who can only approach girls after they've had a few drinks in them. You get that alcohol confidence. And for girls, what it does, it lowers their inhibition so they can do what they already decided they wanted to do, which is to let loose and succumb to their animal urges and sleep with men that they don't know. I don't use apps. I don't use dating apps like Tinder, but I get guys telling me that girls show up to their door for these Tinder hookups already halfway drunk. It's because a girl can't just sleep with a random person. I don't think they're wired for that. That's why nearly 100% of all the sex I've had in the United States for the first time with a girl was when she voluntarily consumed alcohol. Compare that to some locations in Eastern Europe. I've met girls who don't drink at all. And when a girl doesn't drink at all, guess what? It's going to take a lot longer to bang her. She's going to want to get to know you, and that's a natural thing. But in the West, the more excessively she drinks alcohol, the more likely she has put herself in situations where she is sleeping with a lot of men that she doesn't know, whose names she doesn't remember once she sobers up. And the weird thing is that we have become so used to the fact that girls drink and they drink a lot. Alcohol has been completely normalized. So it's almost at the point where if you meet a girl who doesn't drink, you may think something is wrong with her, when in actuality, I think there's something right with her, because alcohol is a drug that causes people to do stupid things, So we have to understand what it is. And when you see a girl drinking a lot, and I think this is applying to 99% of girls in the city that you're in. If you see that, that is going to be a warning sign that, she has a high notch count. So definitely don't put her in the potential girlfriend box. The second warning sign is if she's clutching her phone as she is in the bar, in the nightclub. And the reason is because she wants to feel every vibrating notification. She is using her phone like a security blanket. that usually means that she's addicted to it. So if a woman is addicted to her phone, it's probably because she is putting her body, her image, her dating profile on a lot of apps, and it's giving her this validation and attention. So do you want to be with a girl who is addicted to the internet? I don't. So I always, when I meet a new girl, in my mind, I count how many times she looks at her phone. And if it's a lot, it's not going to just stop. You can't cure internet addiction. It's a very hard thing. So you have to be careful about her phone is always going to be number one. I mean, yeah, we have girls who care about their career. So the career is number one. Her phone is number two, and then maybe you'll round it out down to 3 or 4. This is assuming she doesn't have a lot of friends and a party lifestyle, social circle type of deal. So I don't like to be subservient to her phone. If she's clutching her phone constantly and looking at it a lot, that is going to be true for her. The third warning sign is if she's moving too fast, if she's running around, going from this part of the bar to the next. This suggests that she doesn't have the proper attention span for a conversation. If she can't sit still for a minute, how is she going to allow you to have a wonderful conversation? How is she going to have the patience for you to speak to her? And look, we're not, even if you are well versed in game, not everything you say is going to be great. So we can't have a girl who, if we say one story that she doesn't like, she's already looking for the exits. We need a girl who's a little bit more patient and understanding and wants to hear us talk and spend the time to get to know us. The next warning sign is when she's holding hands with a friend as she moves through the bar or the nightclub. This is like circus elephants, when one elephant will use its trunk to wrap around the tail of the elephant in front, and it basically screams, "You will get cock-blocked." I mean, girls who are holding hands, it's kind of this all for one and one for all mentality. You will not isolate them. You will not get them separated. And if a girl you saw earlier holding hands is now not holding hands, you'll still get cock-blocked. I mean, it's a mentality that girls are going out with. It's girls' night out and we have to stick together. We have to leave at the same time. The problem with that is that it even prevents a guy from talking to one of them. The only exception to this is if there's like a pair and you're with your friend and both of the girls like you and the friend. That's the only case I can see that working, but that is a rare thing. So if I see girls holding hands, I say no to that. The next warning sign is an obsessive need to dance. Now, girls say they go to the club just to dance, but they like the fact that there's 100 guys watching them gyrate. And if she really wanted to just dance, she could dance at home, right? She can, or take a dance class. But the fact she's doing it in a club with all that alcohol and with all the hungry male spectators really doesn't lend a lot of credibility to their claim. That said, some girls really love dancing. All right, so unless you're a dancer yourself and have perfected your amazing dance moves in front of the mirror at home, she won't invest time talking. Now, when I started game back in 2001, I couldn't talk very well. I didn't know how to talk, so I would approach on the dance floor. So I would practice my dance moves at home, then go out and I would dance and it would work. But at some point after dancing, you'd have to move things to the talking realm at the bar. And that's where I would get tripped up. But over time, I got better and better. The problem, though, you can be dancing with a girl for a while, and then you try to talk to her, and you realize there's nothing there. And there's no verbal connection. And that's when you want to go right back to the dance floor to kind of minimize that downside. But the reason I don't do dance approaches now is because it doesn't give me any information about a possible connection that we could have. The next warning sign is if she's in a big group. If the group is more than 3, you have a low chance of getting anything there. You'll get cock blocked surely, because for girls, they really feel judged by their own friends. So I can go out right now with my guy friends and hit on the fattest girl there, and I know they'll give me shit the next day. But while I'm in it, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to be like, they're probably going to, just for their own laughs, will encourage me. Yeah, Roosh, she's not that fat, bro. Keep on going. So, but girls are different. Girls are really scared of being judged by their own friends. And if you understand that women, they really backstab each other and they gossip about each other, it makes sense. So understanding that means that even though you come up to her and things are going well, you're not creeping her out, what she's thinking is not connecting with you, but what do my friends think? What do my friends, by watching me give this strange random man positive attention? Because females are herd animals. They follow trends and consensus. They're not like men who follow leaders and hierarchy. Women live and die but what others think. So the bigger her group, the more likely she will be paralyzed by what the members of her group could be thinking. And it's even worse if there are guys in her group. If there are, I definitely recommend approaching the guys first with something indirect, like how late does this bar stay open? Is there any other bars close by? If he thinks you are cool and then you talk to another girl, then it's going to go a lot better. The next warning sign is if she personally knows the bartenders or bouncers. This means that she has achieved status in that particular venue and she likes that status. I mean, girls love to feel important in a particular social circle or environment. She probably already gave a blowjob to at least one of the staff members, probably the manager. I'm sure the owner is involved in some way. If you're a random guy and she knows the owner, she knows the manager and the bartender who is so skilled because he can make drinks, you have less status than she does off the bat. And she will blow you out. She won't blow you. She will blow you out. She'll be like, who is this guy? He's not a bartender here. I know bartenders. I know bouncers. The men who work in this nightlife establishment want to fuck me. And here's a random guy. Why should I give attention to this guy? Now, ironically, if you met her in another venue when she didn't have any status, when she doesn't know anyone, she would be more open to you. But if she knows people, abort. Do not talk to girls who know people in the place. It never works. It just doesn't. She's trying to bang the bartender. If she talks to you, it's really to make the bartenders jealous. So I always take note on if a girl knows people there. If she does, I don't bother. And the last warning sign is if she's ready to ditch you before the conversation hit about 20, 30 minutes. If she's ready to leave before that time, do you think that she is going to schedule out 3 or 4 hours to meet you on a date? What a girl, the level of investment a girl puts in when you meet her is an indication of the investment she's going to put on you in the future. So if she's only talking to you for 5 minutes and then she says, hey, I have to go check on my friend in the other room, or I need to dance with my friend, but doesn't invite you, she's not going to put in the hours to go on a date with you. If she can't even put 10 minutes, she's not going to put that longer amount of time. So if I meet a girl at night, I expect her to go all night with me. Unless there's like a really bad cock block, unless her friend is sick and needs to puke and go home, or it's really late and I couldn't venue change, I'll go all the way. I will spend the the time with her, not so much because I need to spend time with her on this same night, but if she's not willing to even do this, why would I try even more? You know, I am in the business of meeting girls that I connect with, that I like, that I invest in, but who invest in me too, that increase the chances that this could develop into something, at least sex, hopefully more. But if I'm not going to chase a girl if she can't even spend just a small amount of time with me first. She has to show me that she's ready to make the investment into meeting a new guy. So with all those warning signs for night, you're probably thinking, but Roosh, that's like 90% of girls. At least 90% of girls show all the warning signs that you just talked about. Actually, it's more like 98%. So if you have a large venue of maybe 100 girls, maybe 5 of them will be honest opportunities who are probably going to match you and is going to be open enough to continue to get to know you. So that means that just because you walk into a venue and it seems like it's lively and it's going to be a good time, that doesn't mean that these girls there are in the mental state or have the amount of respect for men that is going to lead to something. So this is why the way I rather go to a bar where which is small, it's not loud, and maybe there's 1 or 2 opportunities the entire night, than go to a mega club that's loud and very difficult and maybe there's 3 opportunities. Because you think the club, even though it's huge, is going to have a lot more, but it doesn't, because a lot of those girls are just there to dance and there to get drunk and there to hit on the bartender, and they're in big groups and they want the table service dudes. So sometimes it's counterintuitive that a smaller, less of a pickup spot is actually a better spot to meet girls. All right, now let's talk about some warning signs when setting a date. So this is when you have the number or the contact of a girl and you're moving from the first time meeting her to setting a date. Of course, it's ideal if you meet a girl to take it all the way. A girl who's willing to bang you on the day you meet her may not even be willing to see you the next day. That's how impulsive girls are. That's the nature of the sex game, man. When you're just meeting girls based on emotional attraction and impulse, it comes and goes. It goes, a girl who loves you now hates you the next day. And I'm sure you've had the case where a girl doesn't want to bang you today and 6 months later she somehow wants to. So when it comes to purely sexual attraction, it is a fickle beast. And generally, if she likes you in the moment, you want to take that all the way, because women change their mind. New shiny toys get put in front of them. So that said, the first warning sign for setting a date is if she doesn't reply to your first contact, or usually a text message, within 3 hours. There is no movie or nap that is longer than 3 hours. And I have never heard of a girl going more than 3 hours without being in the presence of their phone. Even when they sleep, girls leave their phones on, like with the sound on. To me, that's crazy. They leave it on their bed. I mean, they are getting exposed to radiation 24 hours a day. I only leave my phone on about 12 hours every day. I like the peace. But girls, you can message her at like 4:30 in the morning and this rule may still apply. I don't recommend that. I think if you text her for the first time, 7 to 9 at night, in my experience, has been a good time. But the point being, if she takes more than 3 hours, it's dead. It's done. Even if she writes back after that, I mean, without an excuse, it has to be, sorry, I took so long to write back, but I fell down the toilet bowl or something, because there's no excuse for taking that long. The second warning sign for setting a date is when she's wishy-washy when you ask her out. Now first let's imagine a girl who really likes a guy and he asks her out. How does she act? excited. She's like, yeah, he asked me out. Roosh is my dream man. I'm so glad Roosh wants to go out with me. But if she says she's busy, if she says, I don't know, I'm not sure yet, and doesn't even counter offer, or she does, let me let you know, I'll let you know. If she does that, she's wasting your time. She is putting you in the plan B box. Now, of course, we have put many girls in the plan B box too, but you shouldn't voluntarily accept it. So either get her to say yes or no, but maybe is not an acceptable answer, because if you accept that, you're telling her in so many ways it's okay to treat me as a plan B. So unless a girl is ready to say yes or just disappear, that is definitely a warning sign that she's going to waste your time. The next warning sign is if she attempts to change the venue. So you say, let's meet here, and she tries to move it somewhere else just for the sake of her convenience. Look, I'm asking you out. I'm probably going to pay too. And now you want to call the shots on where it is. I'm the man. So here we have a disrespect of the fact that you are the man, and there's an expectation that you'll foot most of the bill. So she's already trying to impose. Now, I've had this happen mostly in the USA. I haven't had it happen elsewhere. But if you comply, you look really weak. Do not comply. Never let a girl call the shots. You are the man. It's your way or the highway. Don't let a woman change things. Don't let a woman call the shots or impose on you. Don't let her be bossy. So if it's a matter of, I will only go out with you if you go to this place, fuck her. No. The answer is no. So it's either at the place that I'm saying, or there is no date. And that leads to the next warning sign. If she tries to change the time of the date to an earlier time, that's a bad sign, because it means you're the warm up and she has plans afterwards. So you'll probably have like a 90-minute date, and then she's going to leave. You warmed her up, you bought her a drink or two, and she's going to go somewhere else now with her girlfriends and to get ready to be hit on by more men. So the correct play here when a girl tries to change it to an earlier time is to stay firm. It has to be at that time, or you move it to a later time to make her kill her other plans. Again, any attempt for a girl to impose upon you, it's already hard enough for men to approach women, to build attraction with them, to ask them out. I mean, these are social risks that we are taking. We're taking risk after risk after risk. And really, a girl, all she's doing there is just receiving our masculine energy. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that. But don't try to be masculine yourself by imposing upon me and being bossy. It's going to be, I'm the one who is leading this interaction. Of course, she has the right to say no, and no means no. But we're going to meet in a way that I want to do it, because I'm going to pay anyway. This is a test to see if she is going to try to pretend that she's a man instead, which is a warning sign based on who she is. The next category is warning signs when you're out on a date. The biggest one here is her phone. I already mentioned it earlier, but if she leaves her phone face up and stares at it, that means she's ready to read and reply to text messages and notifications. You need to cut that shit out. You need to nip that in the bud really early on. What I do is I say, do you want to reschedule this date so you can catch up with your text messages? She'll say, oh no, that's fine. And then you say, okay, can you put it away? If she says no, walk away. If she's not willing to demote her phone while she's with you, it's not worth it, man, because you're going to be fighting with that phone. It's going to make you frustrated, and it's going to disturb the flow of the date. And most importantly, it shows she doesn't give a shit about you. She's using you for like a practice date for attention because she has nothing else going on. So you really have to cut that out if she is looking or using her phone And unfortunately, these younger girls, man, they're so addicted to their phones that this is a problem on most dates now. So just get ready, just have your line. You're going to say, have your line to, announce that it is not cool, and then get her to put that phone away. It's not good enough that it's on the table and she can see it. It's better as she puts it into her purse or backpack or something. The second warning sign on a date is when she gives you unsolicited advice. So you're telling her a story, something that you did in life or a situation that you have, and then she chimes in saying what you should have done. A girl shouldn't be comfortable imposing upon a man or criticizing him, especially a man that she hardly knows. So if she's already complaining, and this is to me a form of nagging, trying to put in her 2 cents. This is a warning. This is a bad sign. This is a sign that this girl is a nightmare, that she has never been checked. No man that she's dated has told her to shut up. I don't want your advice. If I don't ask you for advice, don't give it to me. Who are you? All that you have is a vagina. You have nothing else. If you didn't have that vagina right now, there would be no reason for me to be here. Unlike all the male friends I have who actually have things going on and who give me value that, of course, is not related to sex. So if a girl who you only see as a sexual object starts telling you about life, that is a bad sign. The third warning sign is when you invite her to your place, you put some music on, and she wants to change it. Like, she doesn't even wait for the second song to come on, and she's already saying, "Oh, I got this gay band that I want you to listen to." Look, if she does that at any point, she is an entitled person. She doesn't understand that she is a guest. Again, it's when she tries to impose over you. These are red flags. Because if you think about it, a man invited you over to a comfortable place, to a safe place that's probably, hopefully, clean. He probably has drinks. He's putting some music on. He's attempting to create a suitable environment for love. And the first thing you do is try to disturb that. So when a girl asks to change my music, especially the first time that she has come, if it's like a girl I've been dating, that's fine. If she wants to show me her favorite songs, but the first time, no. You just sit there and let me do what I want to do in my own house. If you don't like it, then you should have invited me to your dump and put on whatever crappy music that you have there. So it really says a lot when a girl is appreciative of this really comfortable environment, this easygoing game that you have going on, and just not trying to challenge it. If she's starting to challenge you when she hardly knows you, that is a huge warning sign. Now we're getting more into the sexual realm. So the next warning sign is if she doesn't ask you to use a condom when you have sex. Now this is a health warning sign. This is AIDS alert, herpes, warts, antibiotic resistant syphilis. An analogy to that is if she already has a condom. If you're at her apartment and she has like a drawer of sex toys and condoms of all sizes. She has the extra large condoms for the African man, and she has the extra small for another type of man. I'm just saying, if she has a lot of different size condoms and is like giving you a condom, that's a bad sign. She's been with a lot of dudes. I mean, okay, it's maybe not as bad if she allows you to have sex with her without one, but I don't see why a girl should own condoms. If she's not scared of a disease, she is a big slut. I mean, sluts have their purpose for sexual release for masculine men, but they also transmit things and you just don't want to know. So I'll just say this. I have never regretted using a condom. It has never happened where I banged a girl and I thought, God, why did I use a condom there? My life would be so much better if I banged her raw. That has never happened. It has never, ever happened. But I have regretted not using one where the day after I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why'd I do that? And then you have that paranoia where you're examining your dick from all angles under like a halogen lamp and trying to, what is this bump? Was this bump here before I banged that dirty slut? And thankfully I don't have AIDS. I'm free of the AIDS, but now that I'm older, and I am definitely much more careful about that. So just know that if she is not asking you to use a condom, guess what? She hasn't asked a lot of other men too. So you're really rolling the dice on that girl. Just be a little bit careful. The next dating warning sign is when she doesn't clean up after herself. So usually when you invite her over, you make a drink probably or a tea or something. If that glass is still there after she leaves, she has left and her glass is still there. There's that ring around your wooden table. If it's still there, she is a slob, guaranteed. She will not clean. I guarantee you her house is dirty too. See, this is my wife test. My wife test is very easy. Does she put her glass back? You know, my mom taught me to do this. I'm a man. When I go into someone's house, I try to leave it better than when I came in. I'm not saying you got to scrub the floors and do dishes and stuff like that, but just put your glass back or ask, where do I put this? Don't just leave it there. If she's not going to pick up a glass, imagine what else she doesn't do. Imagine how she doesn't care to do 5 seconds of work to create a great impression about how clean she is. You know, that is very bad. And unfortunately, most of these girls you invite over, you have to spend time cleaning up after them. They're just lazy. You know, they haven't learned anything. Their mothers haven't taught them anything. Sometimes a girl will make the bed. That is a nice touch. But the younger the girl is, the more that she's in the middle of the millennial generation, man, they've lost all skills. They have no womanly skills. They can bang you like a porn star, and that is it. So let's say you met a girl and she has passed all the warning signs that I've talked about so far. You banged her, she put her glass in the sink, or better yet, she actually washed it. Now we are going on to the relationship warning signs. These are ones that when you see her as more than just a sex partner, you're thinking, oh, maybe I can make her a girlfriend. The first warning sign is, does she still go to the pickup bars and the clubs? Is she still going out regularly? Because if she does, that means she craves attention from other men. And if she craves attention from other men, she is certainly meeting other men too, or letting them at least flirt with her, give her that dopamine rush of being wanted sexually. If she's also a drinker, if you met her and she likes to drink and she's going out still, guess what? You know, there's stuff going on. She is hooking up, you know, and you generally want to see, as a girl gets more into you, less of that. You want to see her going out less and less. But if it hasn't changed, you're just a side piece. You know, you're just a guy that she likes to spend time with. But it's going to be clear, if she doesn't tone that down, that she has no intention of really deepening that relationship with you. And so you shouldn't see her as a potential prospect for a more meaningful relationship. The problem is, a lot of girls want to have a guy that's kind of cool, that they like spending time with, but they also like the feeling of being single, of being hit on, of having fun, of drinking, of partying with friends, of uploading photos and Snapchatting nudes and things such as that. So if you have that type of girl on your hands, just don't consider her for anything beyond this casual sex relationship that you have going on. And a corollary to a girl still going to pickup bars or clubs a lot is if she has dating apps on her phone, and you are pretty sure she still has active accounts. Like she has still a Tinder profile that she checks in every now and then. That means that she is still welcoming the prospect of a new guy, of someone that she can meet. So if a girl does all those things, I wouldn't consider her worthy for a relationship. The second warning sign is if she has slutty friends. Look at her best friend. That is her. She is her best friend. Best friends usually grow up together and they share a lot in common, share a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests. I mean, even your best friend, I'm sure you and him have a lot in common. And maybe you can be seen as brothers almost based on how similar you are, your belief systems are. So if her best friend is a slut, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry, but she probably is too. I mean, I've never heard that a girl is a hardcore slut and her friend is like an angel. There's no reason for these girls of such different behaviors to meet and be best friends. So birds of a feather flock together. And this is a saying that is true. So look at her friends to know who she truly is. I mean, if all her friends are fucking around and she's trying to present herself as a good girl to you, I'm sorry, she is not. So just keep that in mind. Now, if her best friend goes to church every Sunday and, is trying to drag your girl to church too, I think you have a keeper there. The next warning sign is if she has had a bad relationship with her parents, especially her dad. If a girl doesn't have a healthy family template, healthy role models in her family, both female role models and male role models too, her behavior will show. She won't know how to act. She will be driven by the trends, by her urges. It's going to be ugly. And now since I think something like 30 to 40% of children are born in single mom households, you can imagine what that's going to do to the current and future generations. I mean, they're just not going to know how to act besides satisfying their itch for status and fame and sex and fun. While it's okay to sleep with girls for fun, you can't wife them up. It's the old saying, don't turn a hoe into a housewife. Especially if there's not a relationship with her dad, or her dad is some kind of cuck that never says no to her, that doesn't put boundaries upon her. She's just gonna, if what her dad hasn't given her, the firmness, the masculinity, she's gonna be seeking in men through these really short-term sexual relationships, because the easiest way a girl can get attention from a man is to flaunt her sexuality. So she's gonna get stuck in this pattern of flaunting, getting a guy into her for the sex, and once he gets bored, she's gonna have to repeat, so she has to keep banging dudes. So just keep that in mind. If you've known a girl for a while and she never talks about her dad, she never talks about how she loves her family or can't wait to visit or had an interesting call with her mom, that's a bad sign. Of course, it's possible, though, a girl can have a great relationship with her mom and dad, but turn out to be like a porn star. I mean, a literal porn star. I've seen a documentary where porn stars from pretty stable families, they just decide on a whim, I'm just going to go and accept money to get banged up the butt. But anyway, if she doesn't have those good family bonds, it's almost a guarantee that she's going to have serious issues, because what is she using to create a template for good values? She doesn't have anything. So she's just going to be going by her instinct. And we know what a woman's nature is, how destructive that instinct is. So if she doesn't have that good family background, you should probably pass. So that wraps up all the warning signs that I know of. That's about 20 or so of them. Now, depending on where you live, you will see some variability in the warning signs. But the ones I've shared for me have held well. They hold well in South America, they hold in USA, they hold in Eastern Europe. So these are the warning signs that I use as I progress with a girl through approaching her and meeting and dating and sex and so on. Now, at the peak of your game energy, this is usually in your mid 20s to early 30s, you're just going to be plowing through because your energy is going to be so high that you really don't care what the warning signs are. You're just going to be approaching and going to bang, approaching to bang, and just keep going. But once you start to come down from that, once your energy starts coming down, you'll be less willing to tolerate girls who are not behaving in the way that you want. You'll be less willing to tolerate a wasted night, a wasted date. It'll start to really sour you, because if you're 25, wasting 4 hours on a girl is not a big deal, because your energy is so high that you're just, without even getting upset, you just move on to the next girl. But when you're 35, that's like that 4 hours took a lot out of you, and you want to come up with ways to avoid wasting that amount of time. So this is when you're starting now to implement the warning signs and when you meet girls. For me now, I'm almost 38 and I am single. Game is really just about weeding out bad prospects. I don't approach that much now, but when I do, it's because I really evaluated the girl carefully, how she moves. Is she the type that historically, because now I have a big data set, all the girls I've been with, so I can feel it now. Okay, this is a good, based on how she's looking and acting, and also if I do go up to her based on the early 10 minutes of the conversation, I can tell now. So I don't make many shots on goal like I used to, but when I do shoot, it's pretty good chances that it's going to make a goal. But if you don't have that much experience, if you don't have that extensive data set that I have from gaming for 15 years, you really won't be able to evaluate girls based on these signs, some of which could be obscure in some ways. So for you, it's just going to be plowing through. And then as you get more experience, as the years go on, you'll be able to add your own warning signs based on your style of game and the type of girl you like to maximize your success with girls while limiting the amount of time and energy you have to put into it. So that's all I have for this podcast. For more game advice, check out my game books, Bang and Day Bang. I left the links down below. Bang is more for getting the mentality right and gaming at night, while Day Bang, of course, is more for approaching girls during the daytime. Buying one of my books is also a great way to support this podcast and the other ones I have done. You can also leave a rating on iTunes, share it with a friend, or drop me an email at roosh@rooshv.com to let me know warning signs that you have identified. Until next time.